Epstein's murder and who all the pedos are. The escape from Alcatraz. I think they made it. Supposedly flowers were sent to their mother every Mother's Day after they escaped. 2 tall women were seen at their mom's funeral and other hints suggest they are alive. I need to know what actually happened. I'd love it if someone found Forrest Fenn's treasure. To explain, Forrest Fenn was a gentleman with some serious cash. He ended up having a cancer scare and being told he was terminal. So he buried some of his Bond's gold etc. in a cache and wrote a poem with clues on how to find it. Just like old-timey pirates or what have you. He ended up surviving the cancer and doesn't really give any hints on the treasure. Except to say that he goes out like once every few years to make sure it's still buried in the same spot, and it always is. That's how he knows nobody has found it yet. Are we alone in the universe? I 100% believe in intelligent life. Would be nice to see it confirmed. Doesn't even have to be intelligent. Just proof of life. Malaysia airline flight missing. As kid I was on some giant, paid, playground made out of cubes with various activities connected together. In 3D. I panicked because I got in some sort of loop with literally no way out. No matter what way I picked I kept coming back to same spot. Firefighters were called. Actually, I wanna know what the hell happened. What happened to my friend Daniel? He went missing during our freshman year of college. Over winter break. He was back home in California. He left his keys at home and walked away. He's never been seen since. I know he's probably dead. But a little part of me has always wondered if someone took him. Or if something happened and he's alive. And I can't give up that hope until I know he's not alive. Because what if he is and no one believes anymore? Are you really alive if no one believes you are? I had a friend disappear a few years ago. Walked out of a bar and was never seen again. He didn't drive. So he was either on foot or hitched a ride. Police searched all over the area with cadaver dogs. Nothing turned up. Lots of people said he's probably dead, but I won't believe it until a body is found. I know something about him that maybe others don't. He slept rough sometimes. When he was stressed. I saw him walking down an alley once. Totally filthy and obviously had been sleeping outside for a few days. He could have easily hitched a ride far away and lived homeless in another town somewhere. I think this is what happened to some homeless people. They had a mental break. Gave up on living a normal life. Moved to another town where nobody knows them and they just exist anonymously. I have a classmate from high school who has an older sister that has been missing for 10 or 11 years now. I would like for this case to be solved so her family has some closure. Good explanation for consciousness would be awesome. Edit. A lot of people are applying with very philosophical approaches to consciousness. So I'd just like to clarify that I mean a completely scientific explanation for the fact that we are self-aware. The cure for Alzheimer's. Preferably before I turn 40. Dark matter. WTF was it cancelled? It was so good. Just kidding. I want to know WTF dark matter is. The M Cave mystery. I remember hearing about this one and it still bothers me to this day. Basically some guy who was an avid hiker went back to Vista Cave that he said was vibrating on his previous visit. He never came back from the trip and hasn't been seen since. Here's a link to the YouTube video he made talking about the cave not long before he went missing. YouTube. Brandon Swanson. Wikipedia.org. Car breaks down. On the phone with dad. Says something like oh shit while still taking to dad and supposedly walking to the town dad was waiting for him. That's it, never heard from ever again. Relatively recently too. Just kind of makes someone wonder. Edit. It wasn't hogs. Very unlikely it was a wolf or a bear. Knowing the area of Marshall MN. He did in fact go through the river, but the dogs had his scent after the river also. No, I don't think it was necessarily a person, and no, I don't find it more interesting than aliens, but it was either comment aliens for the 400th time or put out an unsolved case from a town I spent a few summers in and have heard about happening. Edit. My friend who grew up there said town folk think he may have passed out in a field and got ran over by a combine and didn't tell. There's a few murder hers and disappearances I'm curious about, but they've been brought up already. So I'll say, the Voynich manuscript. The materials used have been proven to be from the correct time period, but it's written in a still completely unknown language, and has yet to be even partly decoded. I guess chances are it's medieval medical astronomical book. Also the Tamam Shud case. Unknown body found on an Australian beach. No sign of foul play or drowning. And had a strange coded message in his pocket. The body was found in 1948. He's never been identified. If I remember correctly, the labels had been removed from his clothes, and he didn't seem to be from the area. Madeleine McCann. I used to be so convinced it was the parents, until I watched the recent Netflix documentary. Now I'm back to being unsure as hell. My main question I just want to know the answer to is if it really wasn't them. Why did the Cavalier dogs send out Kate's shirt? Behind the couch? And inside the closet? There's so much contradicting evidence, and the events of what happened afterwards with the Portuguese police make it all the more confusing. For Madeleine's sake as well as her siblings, I really hope the truth comes out. Edit. The documentary is the disappearance of Madeleine McCann for those who are asking. There is some controversy about the reliability of cadaver dogs. Clearly they can be quite successful at finding actual human remains. When they indicate a spot and a body is found, we have validation that they are accurate. The idea that they can determine where a corpse has been is more problematic. How long does a body need to have been in that location? How long does the scent linger after the body has been moved? How long does a person need to be dead before the dog can detect the death scent? How do the dog's training and handlers' perceptions factor into this? We don't have reliable, statistically sound data to answer any of these questions. Dogs can't tell us how certain they are about the scent they may have found. They just do what they are trained to do and what they get rewarded for. Why do meteors always land in craters? The John Bennett Ramsey murder. There's a few murders I wish would be solved in my lifetime. The Black Dahlia and the disappearance of the Bowman children are at the top of this list, along with John Bennett and Maddie McCann. William Tyrrell. Also sad. The purpose of the Night King. As someone from Chicago who loves Unresolved mysteries, I would love to find out who was behind the Max Headroom broadcast signal intrusion. It's been over 30 years and we still have no idea who was behind that incredibly bizarre hijack. There was a thread a while ago of someone that thought they had figured it out. That seemed very possible, but it was updated and they were ruled out as suspects. Here is the infamous video for those that have never seen it. The taste of fresh T-Rex meat. We even found some flesh in a thigh bone. So all we need is a genetic engineer to go insane and we'll find out how it tastes. Edit. On second thought, it was definitely bone marrow, so it might not count as flesh. It was soft tissue, though, so I'm still counting it. Where were humans before ancient Sumer, Mesopotamia? Or what happened to the people of Roanoke Island? Or, for God's sake, what happened to Amelia Earhart, D.B. Cooper or Jack the Ripper? IDK if they have been. I'd like to know what lies beyond a black hole. After entering the event horizon, what lies in there? Nobody knows. I'd like to know. If I'm correct in saying a black hole is just a really strong gravitational force that's been compressed super small, then I'd say there is no beyond. You just pulled into the center of it like it's a singularity and then you're stuck there forever, compressed a ton, with everything else that's stuck in there and also compressed super small. When I was little I wandered off from my parents at a storytelling festival. When I turned back up I had some type of mild wound on my hand and all I would say about it was baby cow bit me down there while pointing toward the nearby river. To this day we have no idea what bit me. We lived in Florida at the time so it could have been pretty much anything. Except for a cow since there were no farms nearby. What truly happens after death? What happens to our consciousness? Is there nothingness? Just as there was before we were born? Or do we actually go to some other place? Where TF do all of those missing socks go? The assassinations of JFK and RFK. Where my girl wants to eat. The Max Headroom broadcast signal intrusion of the 22nd of November, 1987. Delphi Medas. The Zodiac Krella. I watch a lot of BuzzFeed Unsolved and I'd love to see that be solved by them in my lifetime. UFOs. Definitive proof of what people are seeing or aren't seeing. I want people to discover what all lies at the bottom of the ocean in my lifetime. The ocean takes up most of Earth. And it would be so much cheaper to pay for ocean exploration than for space exploration. I'm not saying that we should give up space exploration. But maybe balance it out more. The murder of Jenny Lo Chang at San Francisco State University in 1977. She was found naked and stabbed to death in a locked reading room of the J. Paul Leonard Library that only school staff and faculty had access to. Many speculate that it was the Zodiac Krella because of the similar circumstances around the murder. But to this day has not been solved. I'm currently a cinema student at SFSU doing a video project about the whole thing and I'd love to see if anything can be uncovered using new DNA tools. I would like the mystery of the Voynich manuscript to be solved. For those uninitiated, it is a manuscript dated to early 15th century. Written in an unknown language and containing illustrations of alien plants. It also shows no connection to any other texts or languages. But the text and drawings are so detailed that people doubt it was the work of some random guy. Obviously. Some people think it was done by aliens, but it's really interesting. What happened at Dilat Love Pass? Where do guitar picks go when you drop them?